Hey everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. So here's how this works. If you're new, first of all, thank you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, subscribe to the blog, follow me on all the social networks. You can email me as well, dan@theclinicaltrialsguru.com. dan@theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I'll keep you anonymous. And a lot of people have been sending me questions, and I really appreciate it, actually. It feeds the content. It feeds the actual material for the website, because I know I get a better idea of what it is that you guys want to learn more about, what kind of content you want to hear. So today's question is comes from someone who will remain anonymous. It says, hey, I came across your website when I was trying to find a sample contracts for PIs and sub-Is. Our site is considering bringing on a couple of doctors, but are not sure what the best way is to contract with them, whether it be fee for service, flat fee, etc. Would you happen to have any examples of these? So I've done videos on this. I'm going to do it again, and I'll also email you the links to those ones, or I might link down on this blog post. The answer is whatever puts your site at the advantage, right? I mean, a lot of times these physicians, they're looking for research, they're interested in research, number one, because they want to be involved in research, right? They want to be on the cutting edge of treatments and new discoveries, so they want to actually be able to say that they're involved in that space. So that's good. Another reason is they want to supplement their income. So they realize that, hey, they might have a large patient practice, and they also can make some extra money doing research, and it doesn't take that much of their time, at least initially. So what a lot of sites do when they partner with doctors is they actually offer them equity. Now, I wouldn't do that in your case, because in your case it seems like you're just trying to add more PIs and sub-Is to your site. So you don't want to give equity, and what you really never want to do as a research site is get too dependent on one doctor. Whether that's too dependent on one doctor for referring patients to you, whether that's too dependent on one doctor for handling all your studies for you, because all you're doing is giving that person more and more and more and more and more leverage in your relationship. And most people are good people, okay? Most people, they won't necessarily do things just to hurt you, but they will do things to benefit themselves before they think about the consequences. That's just human nature. So, and I'm not trying to sound like a bad guy when I say, hey, make sure you have the leverage on your side rather than their side, but in reality that is what you're doing. You're providing the infrastructure for them to do research, so you have the leverage initially. Make it work for you. Some sites do a percentage, 8 to 15%. I've seen as high as 25%. I've heard some crazy stories of sites giving 50% of their income for that study to the PI. I would never go that high. My recommendation is 8 to 12%. Some sites pay a flat fee. So they say, hey, we're going to pay you $2,000 a month to come in and take care of our studies. Some sites pay fee for service. They say, hey, we're going to track everything you're doing. So when you come in here, you're going to get paid what we're getting in the contract for that particular procedure. So what I recommend is whatever would make sense for you. If you're a smaller clinic, obviously you probably don't have the income that a larger clinic would have, and so you would probably need to look for ways to hang on to your profit margins. And I think the best, especially if you're looking at controlling cash flow, the best way is just to pay them a percentage, 8 to 12% of each paycheck that you receive. Only when you receive it, then you cut the PI a check. Now, if you're not so worried about cash flow, maybe you're a little bit bigger clinic and you have a cash cushion and you're not so concerned about money going out right away because you know money's going to come in, you can pay a fee for service, because you're actually going to usually get away with paying the doctor less by paying them immediately, rather than paying them more, but they have to wait until you get paid. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but look at your cash flow, analyze your needs, What is your cash flow? What's your projections? How much money do you need to keep in the bank? Do you have excess money available? Then do fee for service or flat fee as opposed to a percentage. On the flip side, if you don't have a cash flow and you're really hard pressed for working capital, then I would suggest the percentage, because you don't have to worry about paying a doctor until you actually get a check. So that's what I recommend. I also have lots of other videos on how to partner, find, get contracts, and convince PIs and sub-Is to work for you. So that's what I would do. And then the sub-I thing is a little more complicated because they're not a PI, but you're hoping to groom them into being a PI. So I'm all for that. I'm all for sites not depending on anything for their success, whether that's depending on one sponsor, one PI, one coordinator, one recruiter, whatever it may be. So bring in the sub-Is. I would probably do either a percentage there too, that they would probably have to split with the PI, or a fee for service. So hopefully this helps. Let me know if it doesn't. Dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Keep your questions coming in. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.